I'm good. How are you? Good. Um, Hi, I'm V Corey and welcome to my channel. I'm really excited about today's video. On a scale of if this DIY was a pass or a fail, it was probably a fail, but it was still a lot of fun to do it, so I'm excited to show you guys how it ended up. I had a white comforter that I accidentally stained with a blue bucket, and I didn't want to throw the comforter out, so I was looking up different YouTube videos on how I could use natural dyes to correct it, and I came across an onion skin video and a turmeric video, and I decided to do them both on one comforter. First, just kind of explaining how I did it. This was a very big piece of fabric, so I couldn't just fit it on a stovetop pot like most of the videos I saw. So I got one of the deep plastic storage bins that you can get from Walmart, and I did two large, I don't know how big the pots were, but like big stovetop pots of boiling water. One was with the onion skins in it, and the other was with the turmeric in it. So for the onion skins, I washed off the onion skins first because they'd been sitting there and I didn't know if there was dirt and stuff on them, so I wanted to get them cleaned off. I actually did the double boiler, so I could just easily pull the strainer out when they were done boiling in that pot and get rid of the skins and have just the water. I let the onion skins get to a boil, and then I let it sit on a simmer for 2 hours, and it got a really beautiful, deep, almost like wine red color, maybe a little brownish in there as well. It was a really gorgeous color, and so that was my first set of water that I dumped into the bin, but I knew that wasn't going to fill it up or cover the comforter, so that's why I decided to do the turmeric with the onion skins as well. So I put the onion skin water in the bin with my comforter, and then I went back inside to boil my turmeric, and I boiled about 3/4 of a cup of turmeric in a big old pot of water, and I let that just get to a boil, and it turned a really deep gold. And then I came out and I poured that on top of the comforter that had been sitting with the onion skin dye. So I think the turmeric definitely took over way more than the onion skins did, but I'm not confident that the onion skin would have actually seeped into the fabric as much. So I think I would have come out with a pretty white comforter at the end if I would have just done the onion skins. I had so many different variables with this DIY that I'm not sure which impacted which the most. I think another big piece of why the dye did stick so well was soaking my comforter in water and vinegar before I dumped the onion skin and the turmeric on it. So while that was all boiling, I was outside actually rinsing my comforter and putting some vinegar on it, because I know that helps it seep into the fabrics, the fibers a little bit more. So I do think that helped a lot, but I think my bin was too small for my comforter. I think I needed something that could lay out flat, because this is a very thick piece of fabric and it's a very big piece of fabric. All of the dyes, the natural dye videos or tutorials that I've seen on YouTube used pillowcases, small tablecloths, little samples of cloths, nothing as big, and definitely nothing as thick as this quilted comforter. So I think that was the reason why it was so patchy, I guess. Either way, I had a lot of fun with this DIY. I was literally just putting the onion skins into the water, and I was giggling because I was so excited about doing an arts and crafts science experiment type of deal. With the onion skins and the turmeric dye, I just let it sit overnight just because I went to work out and did some other things, so I just got preoccupied. But the videos I saw said the turmeric dye, the color it was going to be after 30 minutes was the color it was going to be. For the onion skin videos, they said 6 to 8 hours. So like I said, there were so many variables that I added into this experiment. I'm not really sure which one did what. The turmeric did definitely set in a lot more than the onion skin dye did. So I will insert a clip of me after I wrung my comforter out and let it drip dry overnight. I then put it into the washing machine the next day. I believe I did it on cold just because I didn't want the hot to like run all of the colors out. And I did an extra rinse of it in the washing machine. I dried it, and this is the final result. I will say pieces of this did get the color that I wanted it to be, so I'm gonna try to hold it up so you can see. The darker yellows you see was exactly the color I was going for. I was going for the color scheme that I wanted in my bedroom was like a burnt orange and gray. So I purposely went with onion skins and turmeric because both of those tutorials that I watched turned out a color that I was really happy with. So the fact that I got a couple patches of the color that I wanted on here makes me confident that if I had a smaller piece of fabric or maybe a bigger tub, or I don't know, like I said, there are so many different things that I did in this DIY that I'm not exactly sure where it went wrong, but I do think a bigger bin where I could lay my comforter out flat would have worked a lot better than a bin where I was constantly like going in and flipping it over itself because I knew it was folded in the bin and I wanted it to get evenly coated. So there are some spots that are darker in the color that I actually wanted it, and then there are other spots that are very pale yellow. If the whole thing was bright yellow with some darker spots, I'd be a lot more happy with it, but it looks a little too like accidentally patchy for me, I guess. So like I said, even though this on a scale of pass to fail was probably a failed DIY, I did still have a ton of fun with this. If you are an arts and crafts person, if you're a science experiment type of person, if you have kids at home that you want to do this with, nieces and nephews, whatever, I think this was a ton of fun, especially on a sunny summer day. So I'd recommend trying it out regardless, and especially if you have something smaller than a big old comforter, it'll probably work out a lot better. I did another natural dye video as well. I dyed this tank top actually with black tea bags, so if you're interested in seeing that DIY, please let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what other DIYs you want me to do. Like I said, I'm an arts and crafts junkie, so I'm down to experiment if you have some recommendations for me. As always, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.